This is the most important subject in the Bible and the most misunderstood and the most twisted of anything that's in the Bible. What is it? God's justice. If you go to church on a Sunday morning and the minister is preaching on God's justice, this is what you'll hear. God is just. God is holy. And because he is just, his justice demands that sin and sinners be punished. In other words, in Western churches, justice is about retribution. Do good, get good. Do bad, get punished. Retributive justice. Jesus says, no way. Come with me. Matthew 12. What did Jesus teach us about how God's justice works? Get ready for a pleasant surprise. This teaching changed my life 12 years ago. What did Jesus tell us about how God's justice works? Does it punish the broken? Does it punish the sinners? Or maybe does it heal and restore them? Are you ready? Matthew 12, 15 to 21. Now, when Jesus learned of this, he went away from there, and great crowds followed him, and he healed them all. Jesus left a certain place. The crowds followed him, and how many did he heal? All of them. Every single person in that crowd got healed by Jesus that day. No questions asked. Are you a sinner? Are you a prostitute? Are you gay? Are you lesbian? Are you a thief? Are you an adulterer? No. You would have had all those kinds of people in this crowd that day. And Jesus healed them. No questions asked. No questions asked. Why did he heal everyone, all these sinners in the crowd that day? Why? We're told why he healed them all on that particular day in verse 16 and 17. He sternly warned them not to make him known. Why? Don't say anything about this. Why? Imagine everyone in that whole town got healed. Gays, lesbian, LGBT, straights who criticize other people. Everyone, adulterers, thieves, liars, all got healed. Imagine if the Pharisees had heard that Jesus just healed people unconditionally without condition or scrutinization. They would have put him to the cross ahead of time. So guys, please don't tell anyone. He healed them all without condition. So please don't go telling anyone about this. Why? This fulfilled what was spoken by the prophet Isaiah. Jesus healed everyone universally in that town. All the crowds that followed him. He healed them all universally as a gift of grace. No questions asked. No moralism. Just healed them unconditionally, universally. And this fulfilled a prophecy by Isaiah. What did this small act of universal healing, unconditional healing, fulfill in Isaiah? Verse 18. Are you ready? Here is my servant whom I have chosen. He is the one I love, in whom I take great delight. I will put my spirit on him, and he will proclaim justice to the nations. This is God the Father speaking right here, right now. This is the longest speech of the Father in the whole New Testament. And it was his act of universal healing without condition, without questions, without moral judgment. It was this act of universal healing that made the Father break into the story and say, here is my servant. He is my chosen one. He's the one I love, in whom I take great delight. Father proclaimed his delight in Jesus, his pleasure in Jesus when he saw him heal everyone unconditionally. This is my son, like Father. He's the one in whom I take great delight. I will put my spirit on him, and he will proclaim justice to the nations. What? Jesus' universal act of healing all these sinners unconditionally, without any questions, without any conditions, was a microcosm of God's justice to the nations. When Jesus healed everyone who followed him that day, unconditionally, God said, he has just shown the nations how my justice works. Wow! I will put my spirit on him, and he will proclaim justice to the nations. How many nations? All of them. Universal healing manifests and proclaims God's justice to all the nations. Healing is what God's justice is about. Jesus healed all these Jewish followers that day as a microcosm to declare how God's justice worked. Declares to who? To the nations. Justice heals. God's justice heals. Divine justice heals unconditionally. Wow. Next verse. 19. Jesus will not quarrel or cry out. This is God the Father talking. Jesus will not quarrel or cry out, nor will anyone hear his voice in the streets. He will not break a bruised reed or extinguish a smouldering wick. That's divine justice. He will proclaim justice to the nations. How does he proclaim justice to the nations? One, by healing everyone, unconditionally. He won't quarrel or cry out. God is gentle. God's justice is gentle. It's quiet. No one will hear his voice in the streets. It's not loud, divine justice. He will not break a bruised reed. God's justice doesn't break a bruised reed. We are all bruised reeds, all of us. And when God's justice sees a bruised reed, he doesn't break it. He just healed it. God's justice restores and heals the bruised. What else? He will not break a bruised reed. He'll heal it. And God's justice will not extinguish a smouldering wick. You know what that's like. Your flame's just about to die out. And what does God's justice do? Fans it back into flame. He doesn't snuff you out when you're just about to go out. Divine justice heals, restores, fans into flame. How long will God continue to show restorative, healing, justice without strings attached? He will not break a bruised reed. No, he will heal it. He will not extinguish a smouldering wick. He will fan it into flame. How long? Until he brings justice to victory. God's justice will continue to restore, heal, and deliver. Heal the bruised. Fan into flame those whose their wick, their fire is about to burn out. And it'll keep doing it. God's justice will keep healing people. It will keep restoring people until his justice has reached victory point. When is victory point? Until he brings justice to victory. When's that? And in his name, the nations will hope. What? God's justice will continue to heal, save, and deliver until it reaches victory. When is that? When all the nations have put their hope in Jesus and he brings justice to victory. There's an end point. When? In his name, the nations will hope. Divine justice is restorative. It gets sinners, heals, delivers, restores them, saves them. And Jesus healed all this crowd that followed him that day as a microcosm that one day God's going to heal, restore, and deliver all the nations. And all the nations, as a result, will put their hope in Jesus. Divine justice heals and results in universal restoration of all the nations. God bless you.